welcome to Germany for this round of the PS4 Elite Series. I'm certainly looking forward to this race after recent results have been fairly close and a lot of switching around in both the driver standings and the constructor standings. This circuit is 17 corners, a 4.5 kilometer circuit with an infamous turn 1 taken at high speed, along with several other parts of the track. A nice overtaking opportunity at the hairpin at turn 6 provides plenty of action on track. I hope you enjoy the German Grand Prix. That is right, we are here in Germany. No one has left the pitch yet. This is qualifying. We have 18 minutes, well just under that now. These 20 drivers in the PS4 Elite Series to put down their best lap around the Hockenheim ring and see what they can do. We've had some fantastic racing over the last few weeks. Hopefully we can keep that up here, and generally Germany throws that up for us. There's a good overtaking section on this track, plenty of DRS, and you often get some nice trains and a lot of action, including some hairy corners that the drivers have to navigate around the 30 odd laps that they need to do today. As Pure Golders head out onto the track. Also, Samu Pepito is on the track at the moment. It's good to see most of the drivers starting to get out there on hards. General strategy around here is a one-stopper, a medium 2 hard compound. If you have to go 2 stops here, you do lose far too much time and not enough to make that up going onto the softer tyres. Hards do feel a little bit rubbish on a couple of corners around here, so it is interesting and does get very hairy, as I mentioned before, on certain corners. You don't want to touch the grass, as we just saw Mathieu Dernier go around one of those sections where you don't want to touch the grass. And I'll just bring up some telemetry for us all so we can see what the drivers are doing on track currently, and we'll put on the fitted tyres as well. Blinden just getting out on some softs. I'm sure he'll back out of that lap. You don't really want to set a fast lap on soft tyres. It does put you under a lot of pressure, and you don't really have too much hope of a podium unless some safety cars decide to help you out. And 40 also getting around, a good result for him last week. Battling it out at the front, not quite getting close to Zach Crichton. He had a fairly easy run out in front last week and managed to bring home the biscuits for Mercedes, and they definitely needed that win. And it brought them higher up in the standings. Speaking of standings, let's cross over to those now while we have a little bit of time. I'll just bring up the driver standings now. As we can see, 40-2-2. He is currently on top on 76 points. Zach Crichton has made his way up closer to the top, nearly in the lead, 68 points, equal with Mathieu Dernier, who didn't have a great race last week. Josh M97 and Spelly, the 2 Racing Point drivers, 63-51. Darren 11, 47. I Contrast also on 47. Todd Stuck closely behind on 44. His counterpart Aaron on 40. John Polainen 33. And Chapelele's rounding out your top 11 drivers. And I would say that all of those still have a shot at the title here. He's very quick. He's down there in 14th on 18 points. And as we can see further down, a couple of drivers who should be at the front but still 0 points, Swaggy and X Revolution. And Swaggy is racing here today and looks like he's currently in 2nd position on our leaderboard. Let's flick over to the constructor standings. And it's tied here as well, with Ferrari on top on 115 points, Racing Point 114 points. There was those two really going at it at the moment. Mercedes trying to hunt them down, also Red Bull and Williams sort of bringing up the rear of that 5-team fight for the constructors standings. And it'll be interesting further along as we race into this season. Let's head back to the action on track. At the moment, we're still following 40. This has set a lap, 113.277. And currently, our pole sitter is VRT Chapelele with a 112.395. None of these times will stand the test of time, I guess you could say, because everyone will head back in and use their only set of mediums near the end of this session to set the time that they will start the race on. So as we said, jumper line and jumped into the pits on those current runners who haven't set a lap yet. Aaron and jumper line and Plebs, Crossy and Josh M97 haven't set a lap yet. It'll be interesting to see what they are able to do. Do we have anyone really setting meaningful? It looks like a Haas has gone off there. That's Jordy. Try and find someone we can follow around the track at the moment. Plebs has just gone on a track. He'll be on an out lap, so we'll follow him for his fast lap when he gets up to it. Not too far away from the hot lap. There is the hairpin that he goes around now. So important to get good traction out of that hairpin. It is one of the main overtaking sections on the track. And without that traction coming out of the hairpin, you can find yourself under a lot of pressure through that second sector. Or third sector as it would be. It flows into that third sector. Then you take a fast right-hander. Then in quite a technical part, it sort of banks up to the left. So it's just getting out of the way of a few drivers. Possibly going through. Rhythm F1, his debut today. See how quick he's able to be. A little bit wide there, possibly an invalidation. Find out if he goes right. No, he didn't get invalidated. A 112.848. Yellow flag in sector 3. It looks like another Haas has spun around there. Let's see what Plebs is able to do. Oh, that was his fast lap. So 113.34. Just at that previous because he did slow down quite a bit. Not really using any RSA. This is a bit of cat and mouse here at the moment. Everyone's just putting a lap down so they have a time on the board. But we'll take this opportunity as we follow 40 around the track at the moment to bring up the fact that we do have Monaco and Azerbaijan are the next two races that have been added into the calendar due to Codemasters releasing the release date, I guess you could say, July 10 for F1 2020. As such, the calendar has been re-evaluated for the Global Series and the Elite Series, and we've added in 2 races so that calendar goes up to the release date of F1 2020. So fairly exciting times with the new game coming out. We're going to have 2 tracks that we haven't really had a look at in Zenport and Vietnam. So pretty excited to go around those tracks. Unfortunately, this track won't be there. We won't be seeing the German Grand Prix unless they release it as a classic track or something similar. We'll follow Podstar around the track for a little bit at the moment. You know, black and red stylish helmet to go with the Red Bull colours. So that unless they add this as a classic track, we won't be seeing it in the next game. And speaking of release dates, mid-June we'll also see the release of Assetto Corsa Competizione. Italian is, or as also just lights them up and go. Possibly Xbox as well. So we could see Spec doing another series. Something to get very excited about. Plus that comes into the pits. Get back out with Zach Crichton, who was exceptional last week. Grabbed pole, I believe, and just led from start to finish. No one could catch him at all. Maintained a good gap out. He's currently on an out lap. Still on hard tyres though. So he'll come in. We'll leave the pits and 4 minutes to go. In case you invalidate, it's quite easy to do around this track. If you invalidate, you want to switch that ERS right down, save some battery back up and try and go again. You see high contrast to his fastest lap up the top there on the medium. So he's one of the first of the medium runners to put down a lap. Doing it quite early, a 112.1. Oh, there's a little bit of clean air out there. Billy's got a medium time of 1:12.3 as well. So I expect people to go a bit faster than that. Shapalele and Swaggy are in that realm on the hard tyres. It's entirely possible that they can eat a fair few tenths out of that, get into the 111s. Miku currently in the pits. Darren Lemon's done a lot of laps on these hards, 6 laps. Really getting around the circuit, getting a feel for the circuit. He hasn't done as much practice as he would like. What are you in the pits? Samu Pepito, an interesting race last week as well. But they're on and out lap. Fine, but Rhythm's doing a quick lap. Just started a quick lap. So this is our debut racer in the Toro Rosso, Rhythm's F1. What he's able to do. And it looks like he's backed out, possibly an invalidation. Same. Bit of a space helmet going in there from Rhythms. The Spilly. Well, let's go with Spilly. Racing Point, as we saw up there, battling it out in the Constructors' Championship. Spilly still within a shot of the entire championship. There and thereabouts, and a couple of good results can net him a lot of points. Get him right in the mix. What he's able to do here. Down the main straight, turn 6. The U-turn, a great overtaking spot. Nowhere really for the outside driver to go if you don't protect the inside. If you do protect the inside, compromise yourself a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what battles do happen there. Not quite getting enough curb there, that will slow him down. You've got to use both curbs here. Really get your foot down. He takes that one nicely, so possibly made a bit of time. He's at 1:79 under, takes that corner very well. Right down into 3rd. Nicely done. Through the last couple of corners, these are quite tricky. They're on a bit of a weird angle, and you can invalidate there on the left. And you can take a lot of curve on the right though, and nicely done. Very smooth. Gives the minimum speed up, as we would say, and gets himself up onto 2nd position, just behind Samu Pepito, who set a nice lap as well, a 1:11.9. A lot of drivers in the pits now, so they're the first. Spilly, front row at the moment, out there on those mediums, not really setting a time at the moment. Geordie, this his fast lap. Like it. Quite, he's not chewing that up, possibly invalidated as well. You can tell when they invalidate because they really back out of the lap, and often the invalidation is on that first corner. A lot of come for this race at that first corner. Back end can really skip out on you if you don't manage it. Generally the trick is to downshift and ease off the throttle a little bit and sort of glide through the corner. You don't want to brake, you lose too much time, but if you go flat you will flip the car into a tailspin, so you need perfect throttle control to go through that first corner. Nearly all of our drivers are in the pits. Leaving now, we've got Plebs on an outlap, 40s on an outlap, is that Brighton? Go on board with either 40 or Zach, depending. Here we go, 40's just starting on, let's go on board. Very nicely taking that first corner. In a good position here. Glide through right down to 2nd there and accelerating nicely out. A good pace up through this straight because he kept that minimal speed up through the corners. Really harp on about it, but it is so crucial to get a really good exit out of certain good minimum speed. He's taken that hairpin very wide. He's probably lost a few tenths there. Two corners you want to take curve on. Doesn't take curve there. It's just playing it safe, possibly making sure he gets a good. See what time he's able to put on the board here. Cross. 4th at the moment. That Crichton about to come across as well. Let's stick with him at the moment. Not as smooth as 40, but he may be setting a faster time, and that looks like an invalidation. That was very wide. Be surprised if that sticks. It does stick. Wow. A 111.8. He went very wide on that last corner. So really put himself out of the race after that. He's gone, that's enough, I'm done. Just giving his mechanics a few restless night now for the mechanics. They've got to fix that one before tomorrow's race. Toddstar goes up 111.8. Sammy Pepito still holding on to that one. He's got an outlap going, so he's going to try again on those same mediums. Possibly making himself start on some very warm mediums if they're the same ones, which they don't have to be. 40 going again. Scarlet Ferrari, up and down season, has shown extremely good racing certain tracks, and a couple of she's struggled at, and that's why they are at the top of the constructors. Junior as well, here we're wanting to improve from 14th place. Like the stream health is not great. We'll try and adjust that. Trying to fix, we do have adjust that and fix it before the race. Okay, looks like we are back. That is the end of qualifying. The Renault's on top. Chapalele and Bullet Boy throwing down some good laps. Apologies for a little bit of a delay in the stream and just making sure that if it's not working too well, click between windows is possible. We're having a few issues due to the bandwidth that everyone is ripping down due to COVID-19. Everyone is at home at the moment. We will carry on though, and we'll move into the intro, and I'll see you on the other side. And welcome back We are just waiting for all of the players to load into the game, get onto the grid, and we will start our formation lap, which is what we are about to do now. We've had a few people commenting that the in-game sounds of the cars is too loud. We've adjusted that. Two Renaults on top, so this is a big turn up here. Chapelele and Bullet Boy really filling it out there in qualifying. Let me know in the chat your predictions for the race. I'll read them out. Also let me know if that lag is still persisting during the race, and we'll try and adjust that as it is. All of my indicators say that we are fine, we are green, and we are streaming very well, so let me know if it's still an issue. We have Chapelele, Bullet Boy, Josh, 40 on 4th, Swaggy, Geordie F1, Spilly, Zach Crichton down in 8th, won't be too happy with that, thought he had it done, smashed his car into the wall, so he wasn't getting another lap done anyway. We have Todd Star, Sammy Pepito, Crossy F1, Miku, Aaron, and they're in 13th, Plevs, 14th, Darren 11, Eye Contrast in 16th, Pure Gold, Matthew Durnya, Rhythms, and then Jumper Line and starting right from the back of the grid. Full track Mac up, and let's see what tyres everyone is starting on. The top 10 obviously on the mediums, then we've got Crossy on the hards, Miku's gone with mediums, Aaron with hards, Plebs with mediums, Darren 11 on the mediums, and the rest are going hards reverse strategy, so we'll see what they're able to do there. We've got it in the chat at the moment. See what they're able to do. As here we go, we're getting ready. Get our good view up. Wait and see what we can get. Just sometimes. Renault's at the front. Want them to go. And Spilly holds that position in 3rd, 40F1. There seems to be fairly decent start for everyone. Not too much carnage. Pure Gold's had an incident at the back, but everyone's getting around here nicely, leaving each other plenty of room. Zach Crichton has made up 2 positions at the start, so that's nicely done for him. Right up at the front, everyone's gotten away nicely. You can see everyone go down the main straight here, fanning out, looking for little spots, little opportunities, and that opportunity is given to Josh, who goes on the inside. Bullet Boy tried the switchback, doesn't get it done. There's contact down there. Zach Crichton possibly lost a few spots. There was a Williams who lost a lot of spots. 40 lost a lot of spots there, got a little tag, did well to hold on to it. There's possibly a little tag there. There is. Bullet Boy's put Josh down, and he's impeded his Racing Point partner. And Bullet Boy's gone off the track due to that as well. He's gone all the way down to the back. And he possibly had some big wing damage from that touch. Back onto the track now. And he is going through in 5th position. Zach Crichton has had an absolute blinder here. He has gone from, what was that, 8th up to 3rd. Which is very well done. Let's try and get the position change up here. He's gone up 5 positions, so 8th to 3rd. Geordie's going well there. Chapelele incident free at the front. We see a Racing Point there trying to overtake, or getting overtaken. 40. Swaggy's done well as well. He's up there. Coming back. He got skittled down on this hairpin that they're approaching now. And Bullet Boy is out of the session after touching the back. Such a good qualifying position. He's now out of the race. As 40 doing much better through the hairpin, and he will continue on. Yeah, we are having a lot of streaming issues. There is not a high buffer rate on this. Bring this right down. Change a few settings. We'll stay here on track with Zach Crichton. Try and get this stream up. dropped it right down. Hopefully that will fix what we've got going on. As I said, don't normally have these too many issues. It does appear that because of the bandwidth everyone is using, COVID-19 down in Australia, we're having a few issues. Hopefully that fixes it up for everyone. Continue to let me know if it's better or worse. I'll probably keep trying adjusting a few settings. Make it watchable for everyone. Let's head back on track though. As Zach Crichton still doing well in third position. Geordie F1 and Chapelele holding their spots at the moment. And Chapelele has a massive lead out in front of Geordie F1 as 40 sets the fastest lap in 6th position. So we do have a little bit of a train, but the train appears to be behind Zach Crichton and Geordie as Zach Crichton makes the move and he goes too deep. Is he going to be able to hold it? They're going to go down the straight here. Who gets the DRS? Not Geordie, so he's under amazing pressure here from Zach Crichton. Let's see them going to the hairpin as Josh makes a big lunge down on the inside. He's going to have to keep that clean as well. He turns right in and Geordie's lost the position to Josh as well. And now they're under huge pressure from Swaggy. And 40's going to have a look at Swaggy too down. They're going to go side by side through here as well. That Crichton's got to defend, and all this is just helping Chapelele escape into the distance. Nearly a 4-second lead now. We've got a yellow flag. So maybe a little bit of contact between the racing points. They need to keep it clean. They're in the constructors standings here. So radio messages will be coming out from the pit wall and do not battle each other. Keep it clean. You don't need to take each other out. So important for the constructors championships. And Chapelele, here he is out in front, loving the battling that's going on behind him. He just needs to keep it nice and smooth. Zach has also done extremely well. Swaggy got a 3-second time penalty. That won't help him at the end of the race. Let's go down through the order now that we've settled down a little bit. We've got 40's holding his position there. Swaggy under pressure from 40, and Josh lost a lot of positions. He's still losing a few positions here because Darren 11 is all over the back of him as well. He's done well. He's moved up 7 positions from his initial starting place. Click over to the tyres to see who's doing well for their strategy. Now the top 10 is still on mediums. Plebs has done really well. He's up into 10th now too. Josh is losing positions like you would not believe at the moment. Miku's got a 3-second time penalty. So Plebs has done well. He's ahead of the hard runners. Now it's still under pressure though for Mike Contrast, who is the leader of the hard runners at the moment. And right at the back, Toddstar looks like he's had an incident that we missed, and Matthew Dernier is right tailing very far behind as well, and they're both on hards. Or have they had to come in? Toddstar's come in. Oh, and a big moment there. Who is that? That Plebs had a moment around the last corner, 16-17. You managed to regain it, but he's dropped some positions now in 14th. So he was in 10th, now in 14th, so lost 4 positions. Fight at the moment. They go through the hairpin. Geordie's going to switch back so close to the back of the gearbox of 40. Is he going to get a good traction out of that? No, he's not. And 40 is going to hold that position, so he moves himself up onto the podium at the moment, the Williams driver. And we currently have our top 2 in the driver's standings in the top 3. And they're about to go toe-to-toe again as Zach Crichton and 40 do. Let's see what they're able to do in this race. 40 can catch up to the back of Zach Crichton and really put a battle in here. Baggy's keeping his powder dry at the moment as well. Down there in 5th, he's having quite a good races. Oh, there were Geordie's completely lost it. Sent the whole thing sideways. All 4 wheels have locked up and he's lost a couple of positions. Did well to keep it on the track, to be fair. He's under a lot of pressure from Darren 11 now. That'll put a lot of wear and a few percentage points on the wear statistic of those mediums, that's for sure. Not all out of shape on turn 16 there. Did well to hold this position, only lost a couple. But he's put himself under a lot of pressure down this straight as Darren is going to go for it here. And Josh has overtaken Miku. Josh's front wing under a little bit of pressure. Could have clipped that off very easily. And Josh is going to hold the inside line on Geordie as well. That little error there, turn 16, has cost Geordie a fair few places. 3 in fact, and the Racing Point's taking advantage. So all the main players in the drivers and the constructors are all up the front of the grid at the moment. Pause that. Get back out to the action. Chapalele out in the lead, holding a 4-second gap now, just keeping that nice and comfortable. Would have a boring, doing nicely, hopefully maintaining those tyres as we go back into the thick of it, as Darren 11 has gotten past Billy, so the Racing Points are back together here, and Darren 11's made his way up, and we've got the 2 Alfa Romeos who are way down in the standings, and they need a big haul of points, or a swag of points from Swaggy. Let's see if he's able to get that here today. 3 seconds. Woody can't eat into that at the moment. Second, biding his time a little bit before he starts to try and attack Chapalele and catch up. 40 is under pressure for Swaggy, so he's looking in his rear vision mirrors at the moment. Not too much at the back of the Mercedes, just trying to chase. He needs to defend this 3rd position. Let's see, it looks like Swaggy's going to get this done. He's for 40 there. 40 just yields. No point battling that one. He's going to be way too far in front by the hairpin. Everyone can stay within that DRS zone. It's all about managing your... want to be the diesel engine at the front by the end of the race. There's a bit of patience. As Geordie's got a 3-second time penalty, that won't help him at all. Having a really rough period here, Geordie in the Haas. After that little moment, he regained it, but he's lost positions and now got a couple of penalties, or got 1 penalty to go with that. Corner cutting a couple of times, possibly trying to make that position back up. 40, if he's going to sit behind Swaggy here and just maintain that gap, or if he's going to go for it. I think he's just going to maintain this gap. Darren 11, Spilly. Mine has regained control, a bit more composure now. He had a horrible moment, a lot like what was going on with Geordie. They're both near each other now, a couple of moments, and lost a lot of positions. Get tagged at the start, wheel to wheel on track battling going on. Guys are fairly experienced, they know there's a lot time left in this one as Pledz gets it done over Rhythm F1 there through the hairpin. He's also had a moment, lost a couple of positions, so he's trying to make those back up now, get himself back into the top 10, get some points for the Mercedes team. Look at the back here, Matthew Dernier's not having a great race for Ferrari here as well, and 2 Red Bulls having a shocker. The last few races have not been good for Red Bull. As look what's going on here. That Crichton has jumped into the pits. And he's come out on the hard, so he's possibly going the undercut here. He has gone in a little bit earlier than everyone else. You think he can maintain these hards to the end of the race, so he keep them alive in those tyres for the longest time possible. And is Chapalele going to respond and pit this lap? I'll have to go to the front of the grid to find out. Swaggy still holding off 40. Chapalele does have a nice little gap here of 6.2 seconds to those trailing 2. Is he going to pit this lap or keep going on the mediums? And it looks like he's coming in. He's going to respond to Zach Crichton ducking into the pits, and he's going to go onto the hards now as well. Let's see if this lap, little extra one on the fresh hards, has given Zach the ability to fight with Chapelele. Chapelele comes out now, gets stuck in traffic as the rest of the field starts to make their stops. Turn 11 got a 3-second time penalty there. And we can see Plebs in the back. I did think that was Zach at first, but it is Plebs. And Chapelele's coming in front of Plebs, so they're now cut here. So he's going to be able to make up some ground and possibly put a few extra seconds in between himself and Zach Crichton. Let's duck down to Zach, see where he is in this. He's beyond jumper line and he's not an easy man to get round at the best of times. Stoic fighter he is in that McLaren. Have to see what Zach's able to do. If he's going to make this a fight, or he just not quite have the pace here in Germany to challenge Chapelele, who's having a fantastic race here. Must be one of his favourite tracks. He does have a lot of speed, that is for sure. It's just fighting along there in the mediums as well. Crossy and Geordie mixing it up because they've gone into the pits, so they're making their stops as well. And this is going to shake it up in the midfield because a few have had that extra lap. They went a little bit earlier than a couple of the other ones. A contrast on the hards, Crossy on the hards, so they're going to try and make them last as long as possible before going onto those faster mediums and see what they can do on the quicker tyre. Plebs is really staying out there. He's trying to make those mediums last as long as possible. The last of the medium runners is Plebs. Still out there. He must feel that he has a little bit of life in these tyres as Zach Crichton gets past jumper line and down the straight, and he's going to hold that position. So there's one that Zach needs to get past. The next one it looks like is going to be Rhythms, who is on the hards. Definitely needs to get past him. I dare say Plebs might be coming in this lap unless he has exceptional lack of wear on the Mercedes and stay out there on those mediums. We'll find out as we do have a yellow flag in sector 2. Possibly one of the Red Bulls getting a little bit aggressive on the throttle, causing that yellow flag. No harm done though. And Plebs is going to stay out there, so this is interesting to see how this works out for him. If he's going to lose a lot of positions because he's not coming in for those hards, or if this is going to work out for him. He must feel that he's got enough pace on these mediums to stick it out for a few more laps, going very alternate to the rest of the field. Very Jensen Button-esque, maintaining the freshness of the tyres, going against the grain, doing the opposite of what the rest of the field is doing. He's under pressure though from Rhythms, who is going to make a move here. He's going to go right down the inside. Let's see how that braking is. Very nicely done, very smooth. And he's going to get the position over Plebs. So these mediums I think are falling off, as Rhythms is able to get that position back off Plebs on the hard tyres. You can see Rhythms holding that position over Plebs. Now he comes in. So Plebs is coming into the pits now. And he's going to go into the hards. Let's see where he comes out. He said, I think it felt like he was losing a bit of time on the last 2 laps. And he is going to come out right near the back. He has lost a fair bit, I think. Doing much better than that. And he's falling way behind Sammy Pepito. Going to be behind him. Got a bit of work to do now. We'll see how those hards go near the end of the race. Let's head back to our battle for the lead here. Chapelele. He's gotten ahead of Crossy. And he's chasing down our contrast, who is currently in the provisional lead of this race. Does need to make a pit stop, and that will drop him right back down into the mix. That is the midfield, and Chapelele, he'll want to get past this as quickly as possible, as Zach Crichton looks like he is 3, 4, 4, nearly 5 seconds behind. So he's done well during this pit stop phase, Chapelele, to stay in front of Zach Crichton and possibly gain a second, because Zach still needs to get past a couple of these runners to try and catch up to him and make a run for first. Rossi's doing okay there on those hards as well, as managing to stick with our contrast. Pure Gold gets a 3-second time penalty. And our contrast yields that position to the leader of this race, Chapelele. He has a lot of pace here in the Renault today. On pole position, got a good getaway, managed to break away from the pack as they were battling through those first few corners, and he is putting on a little bit of a masterclass here today. Out in front, Chapelele in the Renault. He can hold on to this, to be a good haul of points for the Renault. And Rossi there, 40's teammate. Let's see where 40 is. Currently leading the championship. He's down in 7th at the moment and seems to be a fair few seconds away from Zach Crichton. So he's lost out in that pit stop period as well. It almost feels like the pit stops has really spaced out the field at the moment. You've technically sort of got Chapelele, and then you have Zach Crichton and Swaggy. Swaggy's managing to stick with Zach Crichton a little bit, 1.3 seconds. And then 40's in 4th. And it looks like he's a good 2.5 seconds away from Swaggy. So he's really lost out at the moment. Doesn't have as much pace as he would like on those hard tyres. Jumper Island's staying fat there on his hard to medium strategy as well. Geordie gets another 3-second penalty. I think that's his second, so he's got 6 seconds at the moment. And Josh gets done over Spilly, the 2 racing points. So they're down 10th and 11th. They're right up the top of the constructors standings, but they're not getting too many points here. So this looks like another race where everything is flipped on its head. The drivers' standings will change. The constructors' standings will change as well after this one. And so there is a few surprise guys at the front. Not so much surprise, as we know how close they all are to each other. It's only a couple of fractions of a second between the top and then following down through the field. You don't have many drivers who are off the pace in this league, that's for sure. Often not much separating first to 20th. On their day, any of these guys could get on the podium, that's for sure. Oh, sorry for that. F1's really sliding back here, down in 12th. I think there's a couple who still need to make pit stops. He may be able to get past later on. I contrast Crossy, Rhythms, Jumper Lynham. Pleb's really struggling down the back there. So is Pure Gold, hasn't had a race that he would like to remember. I think he had an incident in the first couple of laps. Matthew Durnia, he's in the mix for the Drivers' Championship as well. Down in 14th, currently no points for him either. And he's got 18 laps on those hards, so he's going to have to stop for mediums. So he's in a lot of trouble. And it does not look like he'll be getting any points for Ferrari today. And the Eye Contrast appears to be the only hope in that term. And Crossy still on the back of Eye Contrast. These two are having a bit of a battle. Just has not been able to shake loose that Williams. As the Williams comes in and follows him. He's just following him everywhere he goes at the moment, Crossy. Let's see what these two teams are able to do in the pits. The Williams going to be able to get in and get out, as it looks like the Rosso team coming out to change the tyres on one of their drivers as well. That'll be Rhythms and Pure Gold. Pure Gold's possibly even held up here. No, just outside, so nice little double stack there. Plebs is going to get ahead of Rhythms. So that has worked out for him. He's got a second over Rhythms, so yeah, that has worked out for him coming in. Those hards were faster than the mediums for sure. Or the older hards, as it was that Rhythms was on. He's on the mediums now, so he's going to be under pressure very soon from Rhythms, I feel. Rossi has come out behind Icontrast, a fair way behind Icontrast to be said. He's 2 seconds. He was right at the back of him as they were going into the pit lane. He's lost a lot of time there as Icontrast gets past his teammate Matthew Dernier, who's on very old hards. So these mediums should be rapid, and Icontrast will be looking to pick a few more off and get himself into the points here. David Pepito is not far away. Josh just got past John Polainen, so he's up into 6th. And we can see how effective, correct order of the race at the moment as John Polainen is going into the pits. There's a yellow flag. I wasn't sure where that was. It is another Red Bull's had another moment right at the back there. They're having an absolute nightmare today, the Red Bull team. Aaron and Toddster having a shocker. We won't flick back to that. But Swaggy's putting Zach Crichton under pressure now. This is for the podium positions here. Chapelele's a nice little gap. Zach's made up a little bit of time on that gap. 4.6 seconds. It was out at 6 seconds before. But Swaggy's now going to put Zach under a lot of pressure here. Let's see if the Mercedes driver is able to respond. We have a few Haas supporters in here. Geordie and Miku. Support from the chat group. Geordie's managed to fight back up into 8th. He had a few moments before. Had a bit of a Tokyo Drift moment in turn 16 and managed to regain it and stay on the track, which is good recovery skills from the Haas driver. But still here with Swaggy. Is he going to get a move done on Zach Crichton here? He's got to keep up the speed down into 3rd. And then nicely exit there. I think he's close enough. Let's see if the Alfa Romeo driver is going to have a look here down this straight. That goes very wide and opens the door for Swaggy. So Zach's going to hold the inside. No, Swaggy had way too much pace. Had a much better exit. And the DRS really turning it on. He's switched back down to 0 to get out of that corner. 0 ERS, and now he's gone back under 3rd. So he's sitting on medium. High, that is, in fact. In fact, changing his ERS quite a lot. Good ERS management from Swaggy. So for a lot of pace, being able to do that. If you're able to manage your ERS and change it on every corner, you can gain a lot of time. And it's a skill you have to develop. You have to practice it a lot because you have to focus on the track, make sure you're hitting those apexes while also those fingers to switch the ERS up and down the appropriate moments. But he's getting a little bit of a gap here on Zach Crichton. He's going to have to try and get close enough to stick in that DRS zone. You don't want to get too far away. I think he's going to be fine here on this lap. Let's see if 40 is able to come back. 1.4 seconds behind. A little bit of a buffer to Darren. Not satisfied with the position he's in at the moment. Would prefer to be on the podium. Does he have something in the pocket to try and catch up to this group as Zach gets very close on the hairpin to Swaggy, not able to get the move done though. He'll have to try again next lap. Here's one of those tracks where like Monza, you don't want to be leading if there's someone very close to you on that second last lap. If they can get past you, you don't get that opportunity to get past them again, as Red Bull has turned himself around again, just having real nightmare on Struggle Street at the moment, the Red Bulls. And he's joined in the middle of the pack. Just ghosted out of the way as he is blue flagged, just staying out of the way of everyone so he doesn't impede on their race. Let's have a look down the field. Who's close to someone? Icontrast has got past Geordie. The Icontrast is now going to put those racing points under a bit of pressure if he can make up a lot more distance here on these mediums. He seems to have a good pace, a good rhythm and flow on the mediums at the moment as Icontrast, as Tossa has retired that Red Bull. Quite gaining at the moment on the racing point drivers, so we'll see what he can do in the next few laps, possibly saving a little bit of ERS as he is down to 15% coming down the straight, and we're down to 10 by the end of it. He doesn't really have the pace to catch up to them at the moment. Going to put himself under a bit of pressure from Geordie. He's going to fight back here. Samu Pepito also just at the back of this mini train of 3. Plevs is having a little look at rhythms again, so maybe those mediums are coming back to the hards. Zach Crichton is still staying within that DRS zone, sitting pretty there. And what's interesting is that Swaggy and Zach are catching Chapelele slowly. They are catching. We have 3.2 second gap now between Swaggy and the leader VRT Chapelele in the Renault. If you are joining us late, he did qualify on pole with his teammate Bullet Boy, who had an incident in the first couple of laps and retired the other Renault. So he's a solo Renault on the track at the moment and has been doing it quite comfortably at the front, to say the very least. Zach has a little look down the inside, nothing doing there. Gonna have to wait until the next lap to have another little look to see if he can get that position back off Swaggy. And it looks like 40's lost touch here a little bit to these front three. So it'll be a battle between these three for the podium positions and what order they are in, unless we do have a safety car or a massive accident up the front there. Everyone else is fairly spaced out. Geordie's still having a little look at eye contrast further down in the field. And Rhythms is having a look at Matthew Dernier down there for 12th and 13th. But let's stay with this front back here, as it looks like Swaggy may get out of DRS range. Zach Crichton, if Zach Crichton is not careful here. And if that happens, that is bad news for Zach Crichton, because that DRS is keeping him in contention. Both don't have a lot of ERS at the moment, so they are definitely battling. This is not a stroll in the park or not a leisurely drive on a Sunday afternoon as it would be in the Global Series. This is intense. These guys will be very focused at the moment, making sure every centimeter is perfect to make sure they can stick with each other, because a little error and you are outside DRS range and you cannot catch up. 2 seconds now to Chapelele. Do they have enough laps? There's 8 laps left. Don't think they will if Chapelele can drive consistently. If your goal gets a 3-second warning, that won't affect the standings too much. As what's going on here? Eye Contrast has lost positions, he's regained positions. So there's a battle here. Let's stick with this one. Samu Pepito and Geordie. So there was a bit of a three-way there. Let's stay with it now. We're trying to stay with Zach and Swaggy in case there was a bit of a ding-dong battle at the front. But this looks like where the action is at the moment between Eye Contrast, Samu Pepito and Geordie F1. Kicking up a little bit of dust there, Geordie in the Haas. Let's see if Eye Contrast can hold these two off. Eye Contrast looks like he's holding this position for now. Just going to keep an eye on the timings for Zach Crichton to see what he's going to be able to do. We'll flick up to the top here, see if he's going to make a move. No, he isn't. We'll come back down to Eye Contrast, Samu and Geordie to see if anything is going to spice up down at the hairpin. I think so, not on this lap. Not quite close enough. Didn't get quite a good enough exit jumper line, and it looks like he has taking his old friend Plevs there down the straight. Is Plevs going to be able to do something about that? It doesn't look like it. Looking onto the inside, that looks like that is a position lost for Plevs there. Head back up to this battle. And Sammy's losing touch a little bit here with Eye Contrast. Eye Contrast has decided to put the foot down a little bit. Chew up a little bit more of these mediums. Possibly catch up a little bit more to Spilly. You can see that we've got a fair few little gaps coming out in here. Zach Crichton, 0.5. Let's see if he can hold pace up through this section of the track and get close enough to make a move here. Could be close enough. Let's see. Go on board. Not quite close enough. Swaggy is just getting the job done at the moment. The Alfa Romeo down the straight. Zach Crichton can't quite get close enough, and it's getting to the point now where does he want to overtake him in the next couple of laps, because it'll give Swaggy the opportunity to checkmate him on the last one. Not ideal. I mean, you do need a lot of skill to be able to do it, but you can put yourself in a position where you don't give the driver an opportunity to overtake you again. DRS gives you that here in Germany, as you have such a long straight with the wing open. You can overtake on that last lap and then not give your opponent an opportunity to get back at you. So could be in Zach's thinking, if he can back himself. I've got the skill to stay close enough here and open everything up on that last lap and get past. That'll be something you'll be thinking about for sure. It is really close now. Very close. Let's see. Might be getting a move done here. As we come down onto the straight. Very close. Yes, he is. Did Swaggy make a mistake or did he yield on that one? I'm not entirely sure. Swaggy might be playing a bit of Ducks and Drakes, some games here as well. A dangerous game to be playing here in Germany. If you lose touch with the car that you give that position to, you cannot get it back. Swaggy's done well. He's going to hold on to that back of that Mercedes, and now he's going to be the one that makes the move right at the end of this race. Zach Crichton's got to try and break this toe that the Alpha has on the Mercedes. Chapelele be sitting pretty, just chuckling to himself in the helmet, just going, I've just got to stay consistent here. I've got a 3.3 second gap. Zach Crichton and Swaggy are battling behind. I'm sure he's aware of that from some chatter on the radio's engineers, or possibly has a stream in the background. And he'll be thinking, I just keep consistent here and this race is in the bag. Pole to finish out front. No battling with anyone, but it's the best type of boring race you can have. That one out the front, you just race consistent, you come home with the chocolates, and that's what Chapelele's going to do here. Woody's really dropped off the back here. Because Spilly's quite close to Josh still, and Eye Contrast has caught up the back here, so there is a mini battle pack going on here. Let's just see if something happens at the hairpin between these two at the front. Not this lap, so let's go back down to this battle pack we have in the middle here. Spilly, Eye Contrast, Samu Pepito still in DRS range, only just. Woody's behind him as well. But on those mediums, there's still life in those yet for Eye Contrast to get himself past Josh and Spilly. Quiet on this lap. Let's see what he's able to do on the next one. But there is a nice little train here behind these racing points. As we know in the constructors standings, those racing points are up the top there. They want to hold on to this, and they're battling with Ferrari, who looks like their only points are going to be through whatever Eye Contrast gets here today. Head back is Swaggy sticking to the back of that Mercedes. Is he able to do something here? 0.4 seconds, 0.3, it's coming down. Is he going to make a move? Let's see, let's stay on board. That Crichton gets out of the way. Ducks and Drakes definitely going on here. A little bit of gamesmanship. I'll give you this one, and then I'm going to take it back off you later on, as we have 3 laps left between Swaggy and Zach Crichton. What are they going to be able to do here? Who's going to win this battle between Swaggy and Zach Crichton? Billy gets passed by Eye Contrast, but then holds the position. So we missed that while we're looking at Swaggy. Whoa! Eye Contrast nearly had a moment. Tried to go around the outside, decided not to, and then cut back across the racing point. Nearly broke off his front wing. But he's very racy behind this racing point. And we might stick with this one for the moment, because I feel like there is going to be incident here, or something's going to happen between these two. As Racing Points do not want to lose these positions, especially to the Ferrari who they're battling with in the Constructors' Championship. Got a yellow flag, and Miku, who appears to have crashed, and he's out of the race, or retired at the very least. As Eye Contrast is gonna, can he get a good run out here? Let's see. So Spilly's gonna have the wing open as well, so DRS doesn't really count too much here. It's just gonna be pure slipstream and how much ERS you have. I get a better view here. Spilly's protecting the inside. Eye Contrast is gonna go right around the outside. Little bit of traction loss there on the back of that Ferrari, and Spilly just aggressively. Swaggy, 3-second time penalty. That's going to be crucial at the end of this race. That is a big thing for this race in the final standings. A 3-second time penalty to Swaggy. I haven't seen one for Chapalele or Zach Crichton at the moment from memory. I may have missed one. There's been a lot to watch at the on this track and during this race, so I may have missed those penalties, but at the moment we know that Swaggy got one because we just saw it then. That could be crucial at the end of this race. We're still here with Josh, Spilly, Eye Contrast, Semi Pepito, and Geordie F1. Still very close to each other. We are on the penultimate lap. Are we going to get a move done here? Zach Crichton has taken Spilly. Swaggy with that penalty. I don't know if Zach has one. We'll get very close to the back of each other. Let's go back down into this battle here. High Contrast. And it looks like the racing points are going to overtake each other. And they don't want to put... Oh, it's contact between High Contrast. He went very hard on the apex and he hit the racing point. I don't think there'll be too much damage from that, but there is a bit of contact going on there. And these racing points are very close to each other. They do not want to take each other out here. They'll lose so many points at the Constructors' Championships and points for themselves as well, sitting 6th and 7th. High Contrast battling very hard, trying to stay as close to them as he possibly can. Darren behind 40. He's going to get a move done here on 40. If he can get a bit closer, it's possible. As we head to the final lap, Chapalele in the bag. If he makes no mistakes, he's going to get the win here. Swaggy, does he... If Zach does have a penalty, it's going to be a problem. See. Swaggy possibly resigned to his fate. If Zach has no penalties, didn't make a move there. Go back down. These guys are going to be battling it out. Geordie's having a little look at Samu in the background there. Let's stay up here as there's going to be a touch and it's spun around. He's spun around. Eye Contrast has been spun. I think he spun himself, which caused Geordie to hit him as well. Samu's been the big winner there, and Crossy possibly, is he close enough? Not really to take advantage, but it looked like the contact was from Eye Contrast going too deep onto the apex, spun himself around, and then Geordie's hit the inside of him because he slowed the car down so much. He didn't really have anywhere to go there, Geordie. It did not look like the Haas made contact on the back, and there has been a little bit of lag in this race, so it is possible that that's what happened and we didn't see it. And we missed the end of the race here. Chapalele with the win goes past that Crichton. 40. Swaggy. Spilly's overtaken Swaggy as well. Samuel Pepito overtakes Darren 11. Josh, High Contrast, holds on to 9th, and Crossy 10th because Geordie had penalties. Linen just misses out on some points there. Plebs is normally good on penalties as well. He could possibly go up. No, he does not. The Chapalele, Zach Crichton, 40 are our top 3. Perfect race from Chapalele today. Driver of the day, they just commanded this race. Must be a favourite track here, and just flagging to the crowd. Fist bump indeed. Those are those boring races that you want. The ones where you don't have to deal with anyone for the entire race. And that's certainly what happened here for Chapalele. Lifting the trophy. And the champagne. Zach Crichton, a good haul of points there for Mercedes again and for himself personally in the championship. That could leapfrog him up. Although 40 is on the podium there as well, I believe. And he'll have a good set of points as well. So it's going to be very close between Zach and 40 in the championship after this race. You join us next week, where I believe we are racing in Monaco. So it'll be a track that it gives a significant advantage to those who are consistent and can keep out of the walls. It's not about the fastest one. Monaco. It's definitely about who can put the fastest lap in qualifying though, because it is track advantage central in Monaco. Hope to see you there next week. Hope you enjoyed this stream and this race in the Race Spec Elite Series, and as I said, it should be a good one next week. Hopefully you join us then.